Hey, it's Jag. Enough with the numbers already.
Yeah.
Been a crazy start to the new year. In the first week of February already. And I have not had time out in the shop for about 3 weeks now. It's just been crazy busy, everything else in my life. It's going to be a short one today, but I wanted to get a couple of things done on this bass preamp, so I can feel like I'm moving ahead a little bit. Hopefully things will slow down and I can get back to a more regular shooting schedule over the next few weeks. So today I'm going to drill most of the holes in the chassis for the controls, the tube socket, etc., etc. There's a few things that I'm going to have to drill in later because I still haven't made some decisions, but for the most part the chassis will be drilled today, pretty much complete. I like to put painter's tape all around the chassis and then make my marks and the dimensions of the holes I want to drill. I can write all of that on the tape. I can drill through. It's just easier to work with. And I have also taped the faceplate that I made a few episodes ago onto the front here. This is not the faceplate that I'm going to use for the final preamp, but all of the positioning of all of the controls is going to be exactly the same on the final faceplate. So this one is actually a drilling guide faceplate. So I've got that taped on the front. I've marked where the input jack, all of the controls, and the power switch are going to go. Speaking of the power switch, I was looking through my stuff and I found actually a really nice combination switch that has an LED built right in it. It's a paddle style switch. I actually found two, one that doesn't have an LED, so I'll use that on the back panel for the edge lights to turn them on and off. And then the front one has an LED built into it, and that will be for the main turn the preamp on and off. It's red, but I think that'll still look good with the orangish, yellowish edge lighting I'm going to put on this preamp. As I say, I've got everything marked for the input jack, the volume controls, the tone controls, the power switch. I've marked where the circuit card is going to go, and also the 12AX7 tube socket. I've marked on the back here, there's going to be two holes for the boost mode converter. I will be mounting the boost mode converter on the inside, and there's no holes or anything already drilled for mounting this, and I didn't want to disassemble the circuit from inside the heatsink chassis just because there's heat sinking compound and two of the components are actually stuck down to the heat sink. I didn't want to play around with taking all of that off and then trying to put it back on. So what I've decided to do is I'm drilling two holes through the back of the chassis. This will mount inside, and then I have just enough room to drill two holes in the side of the heat sink, and I can tap them, and then this will just be held on, screwed in from these two holes in the back of the chassis, and some of this putty will go under the backside to hold the backside of it down, and that should work quite well. So I will need to drill and tap holes in this. I probably won't do that today. We'll see how much time allows. I'm really short on time today, actually. So that would be two holes for the boost mode converter, the DC input jack, the paddle switch for the edge lighting on and off, and the output jack. I'm still undecided on how many output jacks I'll have, whether I'm going to go with an XLR balanced out and an unbalanced 1/4 inch, or whether I'm just going to go with a 1/4 inch TRS balanced, and you can just plug in an unbalanced cable if you don't need a balanced line, if you're not sending a long distance. That's probably what I'm going to do. So I'm only drilling one hole for the output jack right now. Two things that I am not drilling for or mounting today will be the card for the RC filter for the output of the boost mode converter. I haven't made that card yet, so I don't know what size it will need to be or where I would drill holes to mount it. The boost converter will go in here. It will be sitting roughly there, but on the inside. So the card will most likely, for the RC filter, will most likely go here, but as I say, I don't know what size it will be, so I'm not drilling for that today. I'm also not drilling for the connection for the edge lights. I'm planning on putting a DC style jack here, and then I can just plug the edge lights into that. And then if you have to take the chassis out of the cabinet, you just unplug that, pull the chassis out, do whatever work you need, put it back in, and plug that back in. I'm still not 100% decided how I'm mounting the edge lights, so I don't want to drill that hole yet either. But for the most part, this chassis will be done and ready to go today. I may have an issue with the holes for the on-off switch and the edge light on-off switch. Those are pretty large holes, and they have to be large enough for the switch to fit in, but the flange around the outside of the switch is very tight to where the body of the switch screws in. So I may not have a drill bit the right size for that, so I may only drill pilot holes for those today. So all that said, let's head out to the shop, see what temperatures are like, and get this drilled. All right, out in the shop, ready to start drilling this chassis. A little bit chilly out here. It was looking like we weren't going to get walloped with our super cold, but about a week or so ago, it dropped down to the -30s, and it's been there for the last week. It's starting to warm up today. It's about -16 or -18 out there today. In the shop here, the heaters are doing okay. When I came out earlier today, it was -10 out here. I've had the heaters on for a couple hours, and it's about +6 out here. So warm enough to work, but still chilly. So let's get to the drilling. All right, so I'm ready to start drilling the holes. As I say, I'm going to go through this quick because it's cold out here. I've got a 1/16 inch drill bit in the press right now. For all of these holes, I'm going to start by drilling a 1/16 inch pilot hole, and then I will enlarge them to whatever size they need to be. So we'll just go through this real quick. Not a whole lot of talking for the pilot holes. Maybe we'll talk about the sizes of the holes when I'm enlarging them. Another thing I haven't decided on is what I'm going to do for a faceplate on the back. I'm probably just going to order some double color engraving stock and see how a plain old faceplate engraves on the Cricut. We'll see. I could also just put labels on, or maybe handwrite labels. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I did measure everything out so that I could create a template that will match this in Cricut Design Space if I decide to go that route. Okay, I've got four 3/32 of an inch holes to drill for the circuit card. the circuit card will be mounted to standoffs, and the standoffs will be screwed into these holes, which will be tapped. So I'm going to drill those ones out next. So 4 3/32 inch holes. Next I have 2 9/64 holes to drill for mounting the boost converter. These do not need to be tapped. The holes I drill eventually into the boost converter will need to be tapped. I'm not going to drill those today though, but I will drill out these 9/64 holes for mounting. I need to drill some larger holes now. This 16th inch pilot I think is a little too small for those to guide those larger bits. So I'm just going to go through with an 1/8 inch bit, enlarge all of these holes a little bit, and then I'll drill them to their final size. I have one 17/64 hole to drill for the DC input jack, and when that's done I'm going to have to use a file to elongate the hole a little bit. It has the flat sides, so do the paddle switches. So 17/64 hole for the DC input jack, and I'm okay using my little glasses, my reading glasses, for protection when I'm drilling small holes like that, but for these big ones need to bring out the good goggles. Okay, 7/16 inch hole for the input and output jacks. Well, I do not have a 7/16 inch drill bit, but I do have a 7/16 inch step bit. So time to break out the step bits. Okay, back to the regular bits for the pots. I need to drill a 3/8 inch hole. Probably back to the step bits. For the paddle switches, I need a 21/32 inch hole, and it has to be no larger than that or the front of the switch won't cover the hole. Having said that, I don't have a 21/32. If I go 5/8, I can probably Dremel it out a little bit bigger. So that'll be on the safer side. 5/8 is a little smaller than I need. Last hole to drill is for the 12AX7 tube socket. I'm going to enlarge this pilot hole to 1/8 of an inch, then to 3/16, and then I can start using the step bit, which starts at 3/16. And this one goes right up to 7/8. So we should be good when we're done with this. So there's one other thing I'm going to do today, and that is I'm going to put Rivnuts in the bottom of the chassis, so it will just make it easier to screw the chassis into the cabinet when I build it. Usually I do through holes and use long bolts. It's always really finicky. I think Rivnuts are going to work really well. I've never tried it before, but I'm going to do it now. So I need to drill out the 4 holes in the bottom of the chassis here to the size I need for the Rivnuts. The Rivnuts will need a 3/16 inch hole. The hole in there right now is about 3/32. So I'm just going to enlarge that, and then we'll get these in, and hopefully this will work out well for this chassis. A 3/16 hole is just a hair too small, so I'm just going to go one size up. Hopefully, let's see, 3/16, so 13/64. We're just going to be a hair over what we need. It should work. Well, I've had the heaters off for a while, so it's getting quite cold out here, so I'm just going to install these Rivnuts really quickly, and we'll be done for this one. Well, that's it. All the holes are drilled. I still have some cleanup to do. I need to deburr the holes and just make sure these Rivnuts are going to work. Make sure everything can screw in properly. But that's going to have to wait for the next video. This is all the time I have today. So a short one. Things have been crazy, and then weather got really cold and I couldn't get out here. But hopefully things are turning around now, and I will be back to filming a little more regularly over the next while. Like always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check my band One Soul Thrust. The links, as always, are in the description below. And until the next video, we'll see you.